I want you to know we didn't come here for your money. Pastor told us a little bit about what you're doing. We think it's awesome. We think that people don't focus enough in this world. And we think that you focusing on a goal like that is incredible. And it's going to open up so many opportunities during the other months of the year for ministry that you haven't even touched on yet. What I want to do is, we know that God already told us that, those who feel like they want to help us out, they'll know who it is. You can see some of us after the service, but I want to tell you something about Servant King. I had a really nice script and I had a way to really bring it all home, but sometimes when I watch the movie, it reminds me of somebody that I knew when I was in prison. And this guy was crazy. He was just getting mad at the drop of a hat. He didn't want to hear nothing about God. You couldn't talk to this guy. I befriended him, and we knew each other pretty well, but if anything started steering towards God or the Word, he'd become violent. For no reason, this guy was psychotic. I've seen this guy watch TV and be sitting down drawing with some friends and somebody say something stupid and get loud, and he just walked over and stabbed him in the neck with a colored pencil. It's crazy. And so when I got out, I left that guy back there. But every now and then I still see his face. When we go into the prisons, I look across the crowd and I can see him. He never got out. And that guy was me. There's a part of me that never got out. And he's still in there wanting somebody to bring the truth of the gospel. And I'm driven to recover all those who God did foreknow before the foundation of the world and did choose to be His children. They're everywhere and they are in prison. I spent over 7 years behind bars. Summit County jails waiting to be shipped all over the country for my crimes and to be finally sent to prison. And during that time, my wife divorced me. And my family didn't have much to do with it because I had burnt those bridges. See, I played the game, and I didn't even know that I was the biggest fool in that game. I didn't know what had become of my wife, my kids. And one day when I was in a prison cell in solitary confinement, I was just out of control, and I was cussing God up one side and down the other. And everybody who ever had anything to do with me, and I blamed everybody for my situation. And then I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but then I heard something. So I stopped to hear what was going on, because I thought maybe cops might be coming in or something. And I realized that it was just me that I heard. I was so loud. And so I got quiet because I didn't want to get in a psych ward or anything. And so I just sat down on my bunk and I stared at the wall. And I began to see my life and all the excuses I had made and all the people I had blamed, and I began to see what was really going on. It was like I was seeing another story for the first time. I didn't know what this person that I was seeing. And then I realized that God was opening my eyes to the truth about this world and the pawns that we all are when we don't know Christ. And of course that messed me up because and I realized God was talking to me. I was like, how can you talk to me after all I've done? I fell on my knees and I begged God to forgive me. But I had no idea how much more He was going to do for me. That night, God changed my life forever. I thought I was saved all my life. But my heart was not bent towards God. I was the Lord of my life. Don't believe it? Ask anybody who knows me. I got out of prison inside of 1 year. Just 1 year. I was standing in a church in downtown Denver, Colorado called Church in the City. I was there at a fundraising banquet for the chaplain from the prison that I was in. And the head of the Department of Corrections was there, and he had given special permission for my cellmate from prison and for the chaplain clerk to be there to stand with me on stage as my best men as that chaplain from prison reunited me with my wife. This has not been an easy road. We did a lot of damage to each other. But God restores so much, and so much more than I ever had. And it's been a rough week. There's been a lot going on in our lives, preparing tonight to meet you folks. But I serve the God of the universe who spoke everything into existence. And we do not back down. We know that everything and everybody belongs to our God. And if He puts us on a mission, He will make a way to get those people that He wants to get. And we were just blessed to be used. Got my kids back, got my wife back. But you know where that came from? Me and a bunch of guys in prison decided we would walk the line. That's a hard thing to do in prison. I know we say it's hard anywhere, but I'm going to tell you something that's hard to do in prison because they want to see weakness. But we decided we were fools for ourselves all those years, that we would be fools for Jesus Christ. And so we stood up, and when things didn't go our way, we bowed down and we asked for forgiveness. And we showed the light of Christ. And you know, it never came back on us. People knew why we were doing it. And knew who we stood for, and God protected us. And God is building us up. God is teaching us so much. There's just so much of God to know. So much of God to learn. I just don't even have a clue. We're just going to sing something for you here. And I wanted the band members, I wanted you to hear some of that. Some of you didn't even know some of that. But just listen to it. What about her husband? Locked up in a cell. One foot in the bottle, the other one in hell.
Used to be that woman,
I used to be that guy. Each story somewhat different, each just waiting here to die. Then one day something happened that opened up our eyes. A stranger came and shared with us the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we are reborn. Rising up from a past that can hurt us no more. Now God is our Father, and Jesus Christ is our friend. We're indwelt by His Spirit. We have life without end. He whom the Son sets free is free indeed. He whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So open your heart.